What's going on, guys, and welcome to March's episode of Plus Club, the show where we play the games offered on PlayStation Plus throughout the month, and at the end of the month, we talk about it like a book club. My name's Seth, and joining me today is Chevy. Chevy, hopefully you're doing well. I don't know if this is personal information, but you're on vacation right now, so hopefully you're having a relaxing vacation. I know you took a small little trip with Chris, who hasn't been on the show in a while. Where the hell's he been? Hopefully that went well. How you doing?
Doing good. Spent way too much money while I was gone, but that's
easy to do.
What vacation's about, I suppose. Finally got to sit down and play a game as of today, though, so that was kind of nice to just kind of relax and do nothing.
Yeah, I saw you playing Star Ocean.
Yep.
And it actually looked a lot better than the trailers made it look.
Yeah, well, I know the trailers really didn't show anything.
Yeah.
I'm liking it so far. It's got a weird style. Like all the characters kind of look like dolls almost.
Yeah, I remember the faces are kind of weird.
But
in the trailer.
Yeah, it's been good so far. I'm not in love with the story, but it is a JRPG, so I kind of have to let it cook for a while before I can make a hard decision. So
yeah. Well, hopefully you're feeling re-energized. You're ready to talk about the games we played in March, which were Battlefield 2042, Minecraft Dungeons, and Code Vein, which we'll be talking about. And then very soon after this, maybe tomorrow, we'll be discussing Multiversus, which is our game of the month. We played that. The game's getting shut down temporarily and will be fully launched later. I think next year. I don't remember. But
I didn't realize it was not released.
It was in early access, but I thought, or in beta. And I think it was going to do what most games do and just be in beta until it's released. But the game's popularity has dropped, and I think they're at 3% of the numbers that they were doing before. Or so it's very low. It dropped down insanely low, so I think they want to relaunch it. That's my speculation. They literally said they're going to relaunch it, but I think it's literally to re-energize things. So yeah, that'll be interesting to talk about. I'm glad we got to play it before it possibly doesn't come back. But for anybody who's curious, anything you got in the beta or anything you spent money on, because they allowed you to spend money on this, you will keep when the game fully launches, so don't worry about that. So before we talk about these three games, though, let's talk about the games that are coming out in April, and those are Meet Your Maker, which is going to be a day one release. Sackboy, what is it called? I own, Big Adventure. Sackboy: A Big Adventure. I own this game, and I don't remember what the hell it's called. And then Tales of Iron, which we won't watch the whole thing, but it looks like this. It's a 2D perspective platform rat game where you play as some king rat thing.
2D perspective looking like a Flash game.
Yeah, kind of. Definitely looks like a game you would release on PlayStation Plus. So what do we think about these games?
I mean, really, the only one I have any interest in is Meet Your Maker. Have played a pinch on PC, but for a day, so I have very little experience with that one. I'm sure Sackboy will be a nice little AAA game, but I'm not a huge platformer guy, so we'll see how that goes. And then the other game visually is doing nothing for me, but it may be fun.
Yeah,
it's hard to completely judge a game by appearance. So
yeah, I think this is looking like a solid month, just because I did play Meet Your Maker. I played it quite a bit when I was in beta, and it's a game I'm waiting for release. So hopefully there'll be an account progression that I won't be wasting my time playing it on PlayStation. It won't be a waste because we'll be discussing it for Plus Club, but I do want to play this already, but I would like to play it on PC. So hopefully it'll cross over, but I'm definitely anticipating playing this, and I am actually really excited that this is coming out day one on PlayStation, because that'll boost numbers right from the get-go, and I think it's a good strategy, because this is a game that a lot of people are either anticipating, they played it and they liked. I've had people on TikTok go like, "Oh, I really enjoyed playing this," but there's probably a lot of people out there who it's not on their radar. So through PlayStation Plus, they'll play it and they'll pick up some people who are going to like it. So really good strategy for a game like this. Sackboy: A Big Adventure, I bought when I got my PS5. So I own this game. I've played it without saying too much, because I'm going to play it again and I'll fully review it then. It's pretty fun. So we'll see. And then Tales of Iron. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I mean, it looks fine. So, I'll have to play it to have a full thought on it. But I'm not really into 2D perspective platform type games a whole lot in modern gaming. But I'm open minded to it. But yeah, could be cool. I'm not gonna judge it before I play it. So, yeah. Anything else you want to say on this? All right, let us know in the comments what you guys think about Meet Your Maker, Sackboy, Big Adventure, and Tales of Iron. Are you guys excited? Are you not excited for something? Let me know everything you think about in the comments below. All right, so we played 3 games, and those games, again, were Battlefield 2042, Minecraft Dungeons, and Code Vein. I figured we'd start with Code Vein because we reviewed this 2 months ago. So yeah, if you want like a full in-depth, I mean, you can go as deep as you want, but I'm going to be pretty brief with this. But if you want the full in-depth review, we did that 2 months ago, unless your thoughts have changed, of course. So I would encourage you guys to check that out. But if you can get a chance to play Code Vein, it is a Souls-like where you run around as an anime character. You build up from the ground up. Has a pretty decent customization system. You go from location to location, going through enemies, hitting essentially bonfire systems, and fighting bosses, getting new, I forgot what they're called.
Blood codes.
Blood code, thank you. I'm so glad you knew exactly what I was talking about. Blood codes that allow you to play differently, different gear, different weapons that you can upgrade, and you have, which is something that's pretty unique to this game, a switchable NPC you can have with you at all times. It also has multiplayer, but it has a weird system to it. And yeah, we both played it again. Regrettably, we didn't play it together. That was kind of the plan this month, but this month's been kind of hectic for me personally, but then you also were on vacation. So it's been a weird month, but we both played it. And yeah, let's talk about your impressions revisiting Code Vein.
Okay. I have no idea what I said last time about it, so...
I think we both gave it like a B.
Yeah. So I guess just kind of like a quick, my impressions of this last month of it. It's still a pretty decent looking game, though I do think the map design leaves a little to be desired. Mm-hmm. It is serviceable. The combat feels pretty decent. The counter can be a little janky sometimes, but I mean, that comes down to personal preference on the style of the cape, essentially, or armor you have, because they all have different timings for the counters. But I don't rely on it too much as I think it's a really cool, especially in the style department, way of playing. The timings are a little weird for me, so I just prefer to dodge.
Same.
Yeah, I still think, and I said this last time, but it still holds true. I think the UI could use some work if they make another one. I kind of hate the overly minimalistic icons for items and stuff like that. And I think it could do a little bit better job telling where to go. Now, that being said, I do think it's a fun game. I like the aesthetic. I like the style of it. I like that you can make a character. And there's a lot of options for that. I would love to see that expanded upon as well if they make another one. I think the difficulty is there. The multiplayer is traditional Souls style multiplayer. I would prefer that to be more of a seamless co-op experience like Neo 2 if they make another one as well. And
we had discussed too that hopefully if they make, I do believe they're making a Code Vein 2, but there's a hub.
Yeah.
That you walk around to upgrade stuff and all the NPCs are there. It'd be really cool if you could just use that as a multiplayer hub to have people join in and then just go on missions from there.
Yeah, especially because there's like a little hot spring there too, like in social features. So like it's weird to do it by yourself.
It's almost like they had planned to do that. Yeah. And then they were like, I'll just do the Dark Souls system.
There's a bunch of stuff there you can like take screenshots. Like you can lie on bed, sit in chairs, sit in a hot tub, a hot spring, etc. All they can do, if they just expand upon that. Lost my train of thought. Anyways, I think it's pretty good. I do think it is, if you're into that style of game, a good one to play, but I don't think it's my first choice. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. I like it.
Yeah. Revisiting it, I enjoyed what I was playing. It was easy to keep playing. I just decided to play it later than I wanted to, so I didn't put as much time into it as much as I would have liked to. But from what I did do, I went on from where we left off in that desert town city where we fought that one boss. And
I played a different character.
oh, really?
Yeah.
And I went to the next zone, which I was not very excited to see that it was very much like that weird labyrinth place that we went to before with just the blank white towers. It's like that, but dark. So I was like, God damn it, dude. Which reminded me of, something I'd like to see them improve on in a sequel. But, the visual style is cool. I like the anime aesthetic. I like the customization. I like the combat, which is very important. I think the enemy types are varied and fun and interesting. It's a challenging game, not as challenging as a Dark Souls game, but it's not, pushover either, even though I think, over leveled. I think I'm like level 140. So, but that's because I keep hopping into your game, hopping into my game. So I'm just getting double the experience, but it's fun, playing for fun. So it doesn't matter. This game is a really good example of something trying to be like a Souls-like and not really reinventing the wheel, but doing it in a fun way that definitely kind of validates its existence. I wouldn't put it in the same categories like Neo owning its influence and just taking and being its own thing, but it's a fun game. I would definitely play a Dark Souls game over it, but that it has the anime aesthetic and like the blood coats and stuff makes it feel different enough. So that's cool. The upgrades are fun too. You definitely feel every time you upgrade your gear, a pretty substantial difference. And yeah, being able to do the builds, having 8 different things macros you can customize makes my character feel pretty different than your character.
It's also kind of nice that if you're as you're playing and you unlock different blood codes and spend the experience points to master the different things within those codes, that you can mix and match them. So
yeah. So there's a lot of I think when it comes down to like the combat and the systems, the game's actually really good. And then I think the game looks cool too. My big complaint is kind of what you're saying. The UI is not that great. Could be better. Definitely could be improved. And map design goes from acceptable to not good. The locations are neat, but like it definitely feels like the weakest part of the game, in my opinion, because like now there has been 2 different worlds that are just these like linear bridges that lead to towers that you go up and down. There's just ladders, and they're not fun to move around in. But the place we were just in the last time we played, that was like this sand city. It's not the coolest thing in the world, but that was at least interesting because there are certain places that when you walk through the sand, it like I think drained your whatever they call it in this, but it's like your MP or whatever, the longer you walk in it.
I don't know what it's called in this game.
And then the place before that is a city on fire, and that place was a bitch. But at the same time, at least it offered a new experience where you had to be constantly mindful of environmental hazards. So so it's not all bad. Like I said, a lot of the areas I'm not thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, whatever, this is fun. But then some places I'm like, I really don't want to be here. So yeah, it definitely varies there, but it's never like awesome. So that's something I would like to see improved on as well. And then the multiplayer is functional. We already went over it. I would like it to be more of a hub-based multiplayer system. I think Dark Souls can keep its multiplayer system, and other people can just do a more traditional one if they want nowadays, because the charm of that is, I think, only acceptable in Dark Souls and maybe Elden Ring and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd like to see a more traditional multiplayer system in this game because it feels like it should have that. It just doesn't. So I think in this, it works like you invite me into your game, we beat it, and now I can never be in that game with you again unless you join my game. Once I beat it, we can't do it again.
Yeah, once you kill a boss, you're kicked out, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's got that whole system. Yeah. Story's okay. I haven't followed it too deeply, but it's fine. And yeah, plenty of content though. I mean, I've put plenty of hours into this game
for sure.
Every time I've revisited it. So yeah, overall it's a fun game. But nothing amazing. But I definitely enjoy it. It's not a game I would like. If someone's like, oh, you want to play Code Vein, or I think I said this in the last review, but like I think this is probably the strongest endorsement I can give this game. If Code Vein 2 comes out, I will buy it. I want to play it. So it is a fun enough game for sure. Yeah, that's all I have to really say on it.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think it definitely holds up as its own brand.
Yeah.
I do think it needs to be expanded upon. Yeah, really, honestly, the UI is like my biggest gripe in the whole game. So
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. And I would love more robust multiplayer with social features. I think that would be really cool because this game just feels like it's screaming for that. So, yeah. Anything else to say? All right, let's jump into recommendations. I would recommend it to anybody who likes anime and likes third-person action games. I'd recommend it to anybody who likes Souls-like games. I'd recommend it to anybody who likes multiplayer Souls-like games. And by Souls-like, if you're wanting to know what I mean by that, bonfire checkpoints, reset enemies, challenging gameplay, and inevitable boss battles.
and death drop your EXP.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah. I say that, I feel like 99% of people understand what I'm saying, but then every once in a while people will be like, how's it a Souls-like? And I'm like, it has bonfires, man. Like, that's like quintessentially a Souls-like design. So anyway, that's what I mean. And I already said anime, but like if you want to customize your own anime character, this has a pretty decent customization in it.
yeah, both my characters are wildly different looking and very, very extreme looking.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to hold it just to Souls-like because the game's not as hard as a Souls-like type game. So even if you're into third-person action games and you like building up a character, this does have stuff to make builds with. So I would recommend it to you as well. Do you have anything else to add?
no, not really. It is what it is. So
Yeah. All right, let's jump into grades. I think I gave it a B before. I'm going to give it a B again. I think that's, it's only been 2 months, so I don't think a whole lot has changed. I think it's a good game. I think it has a couple weaknesses that don't hurt it too much, but
Sure.
I couldn't give it an A because it doesn't excel really in a whole lot of things. But it is an enjoyable game. It's a good looking game. It's fun. It's got multiplayer, which is perfect for me. And I would continue to play it, and I would play a sequel of it. So yeah, easy B.
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much going to agree with you. I think it has a lot of potential to be better, though. I do like the game. I like you. If they make a sequel, I'm definitely interested. But as far as this iteration goes, it's not even one of my top 3 Souls likes. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't give it too high of a grade, but I think B is super fair because it is a good game. So
It's kind of unfair to say top 3 Souls-like for me, though, just because like top 3 would be like all From Software games and Neo.
for me, be Elden Ring, Neo 2, and probably Remnant.
Yeah, I didn't put Remnant in there. It's definitely influenced by Souls games. Yeah, it wouldn't even be in my top 5 then, because like Elden Ring, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, all the Souls games, Neo 2, Remnant from the Ashes. Yeah, that's rough, but it'd be in top 10, I think. Be in the top 10 over like The Surge.
Yeah, it doesn't touch my list at all.
Yeah.
No, it's a good game. I think it was a good get for people for sure. So
Yeah, for sure. This is one of those games that like you kind of, some people might wait for a sale. They're not completely sold on it, and then if you have PlayStation Plus and you're still waiting, it's a solid game you're gonna have fun with. But yeah, I think it's really good for PlayStation Plus. So what'd you give it?
I'm gonna give it a B.
B. Okay.
Yeah.
So we both gave it a B. It's fine. It's good. And check it out. Anything else?
Nope.
Let us know in the comments what you guys think of Code Vein. Did you like it? Did you not like it? If you didn't like it, what didn't you like about it? If you liked it, what did you like about it? Is there something we didn't talk about? Make sure to go check out our full review if you want to see a more in-depth conversation on it. I think we're talking about it for like 45 minutes. And what would you like to see from a sequel of this? And what's your top 3 Souls-like games? Let me know everything you think about in the comments below. Next game we played was Minecraft Dungeons. If you didn't get a chance to play that, it is a isometric ARPG light of Minecraft where something's happening. I wasn't paying attention to the story, but you play as different Minecraft characters.
You're not mining or crafting. I'll say that much.
Yeah, you don't do that unless mining your enemies to death is what you want to call it. Yeah, so like I said, it's isometric. So you control your character, you run around, you fight enemies and get through the levels that it presents to you. You're able to get new equipment, and you're able to upgrade the equipment, I think, 3 times a piece.
I believe so.
I think it's 3 times a piece.
So, and then sometimes they'll have multiple things to level on them.
Yeah, and they have different abilities to them. Like your swords will have different things that you can upgrade. Then there's, I forget what they call them, but it's like these utility things you use, but those are essentially your moves. And you can swap those out for other ones. So you have 3 slots, I believe, and you're able to do things. I can't remember any of them for some reason. I was going to give examples.
Well, like there's a firework, for example, which does an explosion.
Which is an explosive.
There's boots that make you run faster.
Yep.
Just stuff like that. They're accessories for the most part. So
I can't believe I forgot, because I had like a pretty cool build I was enjoying, and I can't remember any of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of totem ones me and you were using. So you throw them down and they just kind of do stuff. I had a tether as well that would just make all your stats go up. So you were just like zipping around.
Yeah. And then you go out on missions and you fight stuff. You're able to change the difficulties of these missions to get better rewards. You have this big map where all the missions pop up. Any mission that has something that unlocks something for your progression, it will show that on the mission on your map. I think it's up to, is it 3-player, 4-player? Do you remember? It's multiplayer. You can play with friends, more than 2 people. We played at the beginning of the month, so I'm like trying to blank.
Yeah, knocked down out pretty quick.
Yeah. And you just run around. You have Minecraft Dungeon Adventures. We both played it, and I guess I'll jump into my impressions first since you went last time. I played this when it first came out, and I remember thinking that it was okay for about 5-10 minutes, and I was like, I'm done playing it. When me and you played it this month, I was expecting to have the exact same impression, but I actually was enjoying playing it. Now, it's blatantly not a complex game, but there's a little bit more to it than originally I had thought. I think the game has a satisfying gameplay loop where you're running through these. They don't seem like they're like open. They're not open world, but like they seem like they're big and open maps that there's stages, a definite end point you got to get to. But there's a lot of nooks and crannies you can explore, and fighting the enemies in co-op is a lot of fun because even though a lot of it is just kind of like hack and slash, there was a couple times where we got tested a little bit. There was a little bit of a challenge there.
Well, a couple times we just kind of got trucked, I would say. I don't know if tested's the right word.
Sure, yeah. We got wrecked, and I wasn't expecting that as well. Also, at first, you start kind of swapping a couple things out, and you're like, oh, I can shoot a firework now. I have this sword or whatever. We all have bow and arrows, but you were starting to lean into using your bow and arrow more often, and I wasn't using mine at all. I was actually starting to build, I think, a tank. Like a tank type character, yeah. And you were doing range stuff, and I wasn't expecting to have the ability to even start thinking about creating something more specific like that. So it is simple, and I do believe this early recommendation is a game that I think anyone could play, like anybody, whether you're an adult or a child, but it's got a really interesting line it's sitting on where there's enough to it to keep you interested in how you're making your character, but it's so simple that like you're not like theory crafting a character or like looking up builds like if you're playing, I don't know, Wolcen, Diablo, something like that. That's why I said it's an RPG light. It plays the same as an RPG, and it plays simply, which I kind of liked. It's nice to just play a game sometimes and not have to think deep about how I'm going to build my character. But there's a little bit to it to actually start swapping things out to make your character into something that's a little more interesting. We actually played it for multiple hours. And by the time we were done, it was more so because I think there's something else I had to do. Or no, we had to play a different game. But yeah, I think I could definitely go back and play this. It's interesting too because like Minecraft is obviously proven, regardless of how you feel about it. It's popular. People like it. I like it. I think a lot of people like it. So it's interesting
I
that they
run a server, so
yeah. So it's interesting that they've taken that brand and they're like, let's make other things with it, which sounds, like a cash grab. But they made this, and it's definitely, I feel like they made this to kind of show off that you can play Game Pass games on your phone. Because around the time that came out, this also came out, and it's one of the first games you could play on your phone via streaming. And it's kind of the perfect game for that. But the thing that's interesting is like when it does kind of feel like a gimmick for that and a cash grab with the Minecraft brand, I feel like they handled it in a way that they did try to make a fun game. It's not the most complex thing in the world, but it is fun. And their next upcoming game, I forgot what it's called.
it looks pretty interesting, actually.
It actually looks kind of interesting. So I'm glad that they are treating this brand with some kind of respect. Regardless of how you feel about Minecraft in general, like it's
Honestly, it's one of the largest fan bases in the world.
As a big brand, I'm glad they're not just going like, let's just fucking milk this thing. And they're actually thinking about ways that they can make more fun experiences with that brand, because it's somehow it works. I mean, playing this, I was having fun with it, and I could see myself coming back and playing it again. I think it plays, for a game like this, where typically you would be clicking and clicking on people to hit them, stuff like that. As a game on controller, I thought, it probably was built for controller, but I thought it played really well, really smooth, good experience. And unlocking more and more things at the main hub, I think is kind of interesting, because it starts giving you more ways to, sell stuff, break stuff down. There's like a random vendor who will have like new, weird, unique stuff to buy. Oh yeah, pets is another thing too. You can have pets. I had a llama for a little bit, didn't I? Was it a llama?
I don't know, because I didn't have one. So
yeah, but
there's some of the items. Yeah, because I had like a bat or something for a little bit. One of my items like would spawn a bat.
One of your items had a bat, yeah. But then also you can equip some of those utility things that allow you to summon like different pets. Because I remember at one point I think I had like 2 pets equipped.
Yeah, I never got anything like that. But
then I got rid of them.
You have them for sure.
Yeah, so that's kind of neat. But yeah, I don't really have a whole lot more to say on it. I think it's a fairly solid game. I think it's better than I originally thought it was going to be, and I think I would play it again. I don't think I would prioritize it over a lot of games, but like if somebody was playing it, I would gladly play it as well, because it was a pretty fun game.
Yeah. I don't have a lot to expand upon that, because I actually could pretty much just agree with what you had to say. I had like no expectations for this game whatsoever, so I was pleasantly surprised. It is at its core a fun game, which is good for a game that you're making for, honestly, like I said earlier, one of the biggest fan bases in the world. So your age demographic is literally E for everyone when it comes to Minecraft. So I think they handled that very respectfully. It's not meant to be a game that's necessarily trying to like challenge you or be super complex, because you're going to lose, more casual people. Minecraft is, at its core, kind of a casual experience that can be more if you make it more. So,
this feels like that too.
Yeah.
Because you can up the difficulty.
You can
get really crazy with it.
And when you can kind of like mess with stuff, like you said, to make like builds and stuff like that, or you can just grab stuff you think is cool. You'll still make it through the levels. So, I think it plays good. We ran into, I think, no issues the whole time we played, other than trying to figure out how to play with each other at first. That could be a little more transparent.
That's every Xbox game.
Yeah.
They all feel like they're built for Xbox Live, because it's a separate thing, especially on like PC or whatever.
Yeah, but it's if you're on Forza.
If you're on Xbox, everything's just through Xbox Live. So it's like simple. It's like, it makes sense. But yeah, on PlayStation, getting into a game was kind of weird at first, and then when we played Forza, we had weird problems. So I don't know.
Yeah. So, that's really honestly probably my biggest complaint. As far as like longevity for me, it is a simple game. It's not something I could play all the time, and I would probably get bored pretty quickly. But it's good for a sit down here and there. It offers enough. I do feel like we saw all the maps very quickly though. Or maybe we were just repeating ones a lot. I don't know.
We did not see all the maps.
Okay.
There's much more.
Okay. But yeah.
I was going to all the different places, because we would go to a place, and after we beat it once, thing would unlock for it to unlock in the hub.
Okay, gotcha,
so I was just following the mission.
That makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, overall, it's a fun game. I would also, like you said, I would play it again as well. Hard to prioritize it because I'm not like in love with it, but I have no complaints. So, yeah.
Yeah. Let's jump into recommendations then, unless you have anything else to say.
Nope.
I'm going to say everybody. I would recommend this to everybody. I think anybody could play this. Anybody could enjoy it. Especially anybody who looks at it and goes, I don't really want to try that. Like, I wouldn't say you need to do it, but if you were to play it, I don't think you would be bored. So yeah, that's my basic recommendation. Second recommendation, a more specific one, is if you like ARPGs, if you'd like to play an ARPG with like your kid or something, this would be perfect. Because it is very simple, very easy to understand, but it does give you that, ARPG light feel that if you're into those kind of games like me, it still scratches the itch kind of. So definitely worth checking out. If you like the Minecraft brand, I feel like you should check this out. It's definitely not like Minecraft specifically, but if you like the charm of Minecraft, it has that. It's definitely the same kind of vibe, which doesn't take itself too serious, which it's nice to play games that aren't just dark and grim all the time. Yeah.
I don't think I can add anything. It is what it is. So, like the last game, I would say if you do give it a shot, make sure to get some items before you judge the game, though, because the initial experience is very, very bland until you get some toys.
The first time I played it, I was playing with, I think it was Sarah and Cody, and the energy just wasn't there. We started playing it, and there was like instantly jokes about like, oh, this game is not that great, blah, blah, blah. And eventually, I was just like, let's go play something else. And that's what we did. So I didn't have enough time to, and I chose to not play it longer, really start seeing what made the game actually fun. So I agree with what you said. Like, spend a little more time with it. See what you think. You're not going to figure that out right from the beginning. So
yeah.
Grade it.
I'm going to give it a B plus, just because I do think it is a little bit of a shallow experience in comparison to what I'm used to in the genre, but I do think it is a solid game. And I give complete props to them for taking, that brand and making a different game out of it. And after seeing the trailer for their other one coming out, it makes me a little more comfortable with them kind of making other projects within that ecosystem, essentially. So
yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, after this and just Minecraft and how Microsoft has handled Minecraft since acquiring it, I think they've done a decent job with it. So at least they seem to be respecting that property as they should. But many people have made the mistake of ruining beloved franchises. So it wouldn't be surprising if they did that. But they haven't, and they've decided to expand upon it. And I think they've done a good job so far. So yeah, I'm in the exact same boat. I'm also in the same boat with the grade. I was also going to give it a B plus. Couldn't go A territory just because it doesn't really excel. I kind of said with the last game too, but it also is, and I mean this in a way that it doesn't need to be. This isn't a knock, but it is kind of shallow in the sense that like it's not a deeper experience that I'm like clamoring to come back and play it right now. I got to keep playing it. It's great. But for what it does do, I think it does really well. We didn't have like any hiccups outside of the multiplayer for like a split second. No glitches, no lag, no nothing. Completely solid game. Enough there to keep you playing, and plenty of content to go through, and plenty of charm. So yeah, easy B plus. It's a fun game. It's fun enough. And I think, like I said, I think anyone can play this. It has same screen co-op, I believe, too. So that's also,
I think I saw that in there. Yeah,
that's also a plus, because a game like this is definitely a game I could see people playing with their family. So
oh yeah, definitely.
Just because of how easy it is to just get and go. So yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys think of Minecraft Dungeons. Did you like it? Did you not like it? If you didn't like it, what did you absolutely fucking hate about it? And if you did like it, what'd you like about it? How far did you play into it? Have you beaten it? And does it get better? Does it stay about the same? And what do you think about Minecraft as a brand and the future of Minecraft? Let me know everything you think about in the comments below. Last game we played in March was Battlefield 2042, returning to the controversial game for me personally. Yeah, if you didn't get a chance to play it, this is the most recent Battlefield game. Battlefield is a series of big team battles on big maps, and this one is no different. In it, you join a team and you take sectors of a map to, I think it's Conquest, the name of that mode, to essentially take over the map, and whatever team loses their tickets first, whether there's enough places captured that are taking away the tickets, or when you kill enemies and deducts tickets from their side, whoever runs out tickets loses. It's very classic game mode at this point that Battlefield has been very famous for. The thing that makes Battlefield 2042 different than the other Battlefields is this one is in a pseudo-futuristic setting that's not super sci-fi, but it is definitely in the future from now, and it seems as though climate change has become a huge factor in this world, where there are random storms, dust storms, tornadoes that will interact randomly in the battles. And yeah, like I said, it's kind of futuristic in terms of the tech in it. You're using a lot of normal guns, but there are some futuristic vehicles, and there are like quadruped mounted gun guys that will follow you around and shoot people,
hacking
and
devices and stuff like that.
yeah, stuff like that. And then one thing I got to note, which is really important for me to kind of throw out there, is they've brought classes back. When this game originally came out, they had operators who were all specialized characters, individual characters that did their own thing, which is very different than what Battlefield is known for. Because of the backlash of adding operators, have implemented classes again. So you have your assault, you have your engineer, and all that stuff. And before I even jump into my impressions, thank you for bringing that back, because holy shit, I hated what you guys did with this game when it released.
They've kind of done a weird like hybrid thing too, because the characters do have individual perks still. But
Yeah.
they fit within one of those 4 categories still. So
Yeah, but you can still just pick like engineer,
Yes.
assault, whatever,
Yeah.
and you get to play that class, and the class-based gameplay is what makes Battlefield outside of the big battles. So yeah, I can go on all the details, but that is a huge thing that they added, and this was the perfect time for them to be releasing this on PlayStation Plus if they're gonna, with that being a big change that they did. We both played it, so let's start with your impressions of Battlefield 2042.
all right, well, yet another game I had no expectations of, because the trajectory of the series has been for fans of it, I should say, on a downward spiral, and so I only had that to go off of. Because
Though low key, I just want to say this because I feel like it just has to be said. Battlefield 1 was fucking incredible. That game was like really polarizing when it came out, and now I look back at it, I'm like, that was the last great Battlefield.
I enjoyed it.
It was
it's
so
just,
good.
You know, the era makes it difficult to make a lot of weapons, but
And yet they did, dude. There's so many guns in that game. It was crazy. Just not a whole lot of attachments. But anyway, I just had to say that just to let people know where I'm at on that.
yeah, I, like many, kind of avoided this game because they were, what I had heard originally was like it didn't have the class system, which I think is kind of silly, kind of is the identity of the game.
Didn't have
And it was missing a bunch of features, I guess.
didn't have a scoreboard either or anything. I don't know if they added that or not. I don't remember seeing that.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I didn't really.
You couldn't check like kills or anything like that because they didn't want to make it like competitive.
They didn't want to make a competitive game to be competitive.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's stupid. Fucking stupid.
And then just kind of like some backstory for me, I enjoyed Battlefield 3, 4, and 1. So, I have a little bit of a history.
Yeah, you like Battlefield.
I do.
It's weird.
I like big team battles. It was my favorite thing in Halo as well. So,
I think big team battle games are more appealing to, I don't want to say people like you, because what does that mean? But like, because you're not being dependent, like in Call of Duty, you better get some kills, because otherwise, what are you doing here? But in Battlefield, you can still, and not to say you're not getting kills, but like, you might want to prioritize like repairing tanks or being a medic. Like there's other things to do to support the team other than just like, you better be a stone cold killer here.
Well, even to just jump into, my impressions here, my experience, we played together once, and I played by myself once. When I would play the engineer, I forgot how fun it is to run up to a vehicle when they're not paying attention to you and start breaking their vehicle. And, being able to do that and earn points and also slow them down, help your team, the game takes all that stuff into consideration. The series takes all that into consideration. And I think, like you said, being able to not have to just be a killing machine all the time and being able to still be useful in a game, I think is really important. Spotting makes a huge difference. When you spot someone, your whole team sees them all of a sudden. So like you get a little bit of EXP for spotting because you are helping. These are all, I think, great things. Overall, my impressions coming into this game, though, was I had more fun than I was anticipating, which is great to say because I had kind of given up on this series. Am I in love with it? No. But I do kind of still want to play it, which is a good thing to say in my more comfortable ecosystem, which would be PC. But it was good on PlayStation. I did pretty well. I had a fun time. Yeah. I didn't complain about the controls the whole time, which is a big one for me.
You always do. Anytime you play anything, you got to aim. You're like, oh,
I hate it. But in this game, it feels pretty good. So
yeah, it worked.
I'm not a big vehicle guy, so I can't really talk on that. I didn't touch any of them, but I did destroy a few. I kind of focus mostly on engineer and sniper or scout, whatever they call it in this one. Those tend to be my go-to because I like support roles in games. I like that, though some of the maps are very vertical. Verticality is
very vertical.
Definitely, something you got to pay attention to. You can't just, sometimes you'll run into a room and be, in a firefight and someone above you can just take you out. It's just so you got to keep in mind. So I think the maps that I played, I didn't play all of them, but the couple I got to see seemed pretty decent. There was only one I did not like, and that was the first one me and you got into where it had
the huge cliff.
Yeah, and the bridges everywhere. I was like, this is kind of annoying.
The concept is neat, but like the playability was annoying. There's like zip lines and stuff, but like you either fight up on top of this huge ridge or you can like fly down or run down this huge, like where it almost looks like the ridge like collapsed and you fight down below. But like when you're down below and you need to get back up, you got to like either run up there, drive up there, which I guess you could make the claim of like you got to drive around anyway on these maps, but like getting up this hill is really annoying. Or you can take like zip lines and stuff, but like I was like, holy shit, I might as well just get murdered down here and respawn up there. Like that's such a trek.
Yeah, that was the only map I didn't really care for. I played probably 3 other maps outside of that, and they were all fine. I liked them.
So. The maps are fucking huge.
Oh yeah.
The one map that you guys are probably seeing footage of is like, it looks like.
Is that the one with the building in the center?
It's a boat. It's a ship.
Oh, that one.
It's a giant ship in the center.
Right.
Where like the ocean was or something. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but yeah, you start at like 2 different bases, and then you get down there, and there's like could be its own map. Is this giant ship huge. You can fucking fight on? And I was just like, the scale of this is gigantic. I mean, Battlefield's been doing that for a long time. I still remember Battlefield 4, the city map and stuff like that. But they're definitely keeping that alive and having these like gigantic maps that feel like multiple maps in one. So
yeah. One also to jump into the next part of this as well allows them to do the weather systems.
Yeah,
and weathers can be in part of the map and not the whole thing, which is kind of nice. I have experienced weather in 2 rounds I've played now. I think the craziest one was the dust storm. I couldn't see anything, so which is a good thing. And it's also kind of interesting because imagine being in a vehicle that flies and not being able to see. Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So the guns, I used a few of them. They all felt pretty good, which is good to say. The attachment system I liked in it. I also like that you can either pick to have your character be a 2042, Battlefield 3, Bad Company, or I can't remember the other game they had in there, but you can pick your theme for your character as well. So you can kind of pick your flavor in that regard. If you do pick a 2042 character, they still do have some perks to them. To a good example is like there's a big like bearded dude in the engineer thing, and his whole thing is he's better with turrets than the other ones. That doesn't make him like amazing, but it gives him a little bonus to that. So
I didn't even notice that.
yeah, when you're fighting that many people, it's not going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, it's just weird that you would get benefits for certain characters but not others. If you picked like other eras, which I don't even know why the hell they have
probably
that.
do, but I just played with the the 24.
Yeah, I played with the 24-2 characters because those are the characters that were designed for this game, and I know they made that I forgot what the fuck it's called, but they made that weird Battlefield thing where you can like play different locations from the prior Battlefields and have all this stuff to play with that was not as robust as they made it sound when it came out, at least. But I almost feel like because that didn't do as well as they were hoping, they just implemented that into the main game where you could just play with the other characters from other Battlefields, which it's not bad to have options, but I kind of hate the idea of the game being a la carte because they can't figure out what the fuck you want. So they're just like, well, just play it how you want, however you want. It's like,
well, it definitely feels like a bandage for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not trying to complain about it. Like, it doesn't change it that much, but it just shows me that the game didn't really have a whole lot of vision. So it makes me respect the development of the game less. But
yeah, I can see that.
The game, just real quick, is in a much better state than it was when it came out, though. So I'm not trying to complain about it too much in that regard because they've improved the game. So
yeah. I really only have one other thing to add, and then I'll pass it on to you. And if I have anything, I'll bounce off you. But for someone who does not play competitive shooters and doesn't always want to be in the right mindset, or isn't always in the mindset to play with other people, the game has bot support, and you get EXP for it,
which is cool.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I can play the game and not have to worry about it. I can just play it. And I'm not opposed to playing it. I've played Battlefield in the past. Like, this isn't new to me, but sometimes I don't want to. Sometimes I just don't want to play with people. So
I just like options in games. So like, I mean, I'm playing too much Hunt Showdown right now. So I have absolutely no issue playing against other people. I like it. And in Battlefield, no different. But the option of having bot support and bot support that actually levels you up so you're not wasting time playing it just for fun, I think is good because maybe you just want like a casual play session with your friends or whatever. You don't have to worry about other people, or like maybe you have somebody you want to get into the game that doesn't want to play against other people, which you do go through that kind of like mindset where you
Chris would be similar, not to speak for him.
100%.
Yeah.
So it's more inviting to just have your friends come in and essentially do some co-op. So those kind of options are good. I think, as long as it doesn't break the game, which this doesn't seem to do. I know some concern sometimes when it comes to fighting NPCs and getting XP is people can exploit something. If they do a good,
way less though playing bots than you do people.
Sure. So yeah, as long as they balance it in a way that can't happen, I don't see a problem with it. The people who want to play against real people are gonna fucking do it. So, and there's plenty of those people, especially people picking up Battlefield. But I just think it's a win-win in that regard. Also because of the issue I ran into, I did try to play this game earlier in the month a couple times, and I couldn't get into a server, which I don't know what was up with that. I know this game wasn't popular when it came out. I know it still has negative reviews all over the place. I know people will not let it go how the game launched, and I get it. It was ridiculous what they did. I have a hard time believing people aren't playing it. I've seen worse games with communities, so I don't know if it's just like the servers suck or I was just picking days where it was hard to find a room, but like I could not fucking find a room. I let it sit there for like 10 minutes. I was like, this is crazy. I'm sure if I looked at a server list, maybe I could like manually join one, but I don't know. I thought it was kind of crazy. So the bot support was definitely welcome because I got to fucking play the game. I actually was kind of worried that I wasn't going to get to play it. I'm like, what the hell do I do for this review if I can't play?
I mean, that would have to go into your review.
Sure,
so.
But I have to give it a fucking F at that point. So
happened once before.
Yeah. So luckily I got to play it.
Yeah.
So is there anything you were gonna say?
All I'm gonna say is I was pleasantly surprised, which is good. Not in love with it, but I probably will pick it up when it's on sale
Yeah.
on Steam to give me a shooter to play whenever I'm in the mood. So
That'd be cool. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I did like this. Didn't love it. I would like to play more though. Maybe I could end up liking it quite a bit. It's definitely not as good as the past battlefields that I love, but it's pretty decent. And I think also I would pick this up on PC if it was on sale, because when I was playing it, I was having fun with it, and I was thinking about playing it more later. But then I was like, I don't want to play this on PlayStation. So it's a first-person shooter. I want to play that with mouse and keyboard. So like I said earlier, I played this in the beta, and then I bought it when it first came out, and I refunded it within an hour. Because it felt like half of a game. It felt bare bones. It didn't have features that you would expect from a game like this. It had the operator system, which I wasn't in love with, and it had a shitload of networking issues. The beta had that, and like any beta, I'm like, yeah, they'll fix it, fine, patch it, figure it out. The game released, and I was like, okay, it's a buggy fucking mess. I could wait for a patch, but then I was looking at like the lack of features, the maps, the operators I wasn't having fun with, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna refund this shit, and if they fix it, make it good, I will come back to it. So I'm happy to say, playing it right now, it's in a better place in my opinion. Now I don't know about the servers, I don't know how the population of the game is doing. Maybe I'm only gonna be able to play with bots, but when it comes to the core game itself, no network issues. It played just fine. I was playing with you, so it wasn't like I was on like a server with a bunch of people, but I didn't notice any problems on a technical level. Whether it's with the game, no glitches, no server stuff, which was very nice. Classes are back, which again, fucking thank you. Never change that. That is such an important core component of what Battlefield is. You can't fucking change that. That is Battlefield. Make a different game. So you're going to bring that back. I can complain all day about how you should have fucking known not to have, not had that, but you brought it back. I'm good. I'm going to fucking encourage that, and I'm glad you brought it back. So, yeah, it was fun. I got to play Assault like I typically do in Battlefield. I like to be a medic. I like to get people back up because so many people don't do it when they play medic. So I always feel compelled to do it myself. Yeah, the maps are okay. The game's good looking, though. I mean, Frostbite still looks great. The effects are really good. I shot a helicopter with a missile launcher and watched it explode, and I was impressed with how fucking good that looked. Just watching the fire and smoke billow out of it as it exploded in the air, I was like, that's satisfying. Still looks fantastic. Scale of the maps is really big. To the point where sometimes I was like, where's everybody? Because I was like running through a field, I'm like, where is everybody? And I look at the map, I'm like, oh, they're all over there. But yeah, I believe this game supports 100
on PC, I think it supports that. Yeah.
On PlayStation, I thought it said that.
I think there's a mode you can pick for that, but
Yeah.
I don't think we were playing that mode.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't see that many people. But yeah. So anyway, classes are cool. The guns feel good. This game just feels like Battlefield. It doesn't feel as like robust and inspired as like Battlefield 1 and the Battlefields before that, but it still feels like Battlefield. Still has the ping system. You can still call out people, which is a system I love from Battlefield. If you're the squad leader, which I typically like playing, you can call out locations for people to go capture, and everybody gets XP for capturing it. It's a system I fucking love. The guns are beefy. They can drop people pretty quick. All bullets have bullet drops, so like you got to be thinking about your bullet placement where you're shooting ahead of people, stuff like that. So no complaints there. Vehicles work all right. I think it's weird that you can summon in vehicles in this one. I mean, it's the future, so they're like, oh yeah, I think you had to press L1 and R1 at the same time, and it would give you a menu, and then you pick what vehicle you want, and then it just parachutes it in right there.
I saw a couple of the parachutes.
Yeah, it had a cool animation when it was coming down, but I still kind of prefer bases with the vehicles. And I think it still had that, but
It does.
They just have a system now. It's almost reminds you of Counter-Strike, where like you play long enough and you can purchase stuff.
Yeah, I'm mixed on it as well, but I do think it's also kind of a decent answer to if one team is keeping you at your base and you can't
Yeah.
get in the vehicles, you still have the option to.
It's also handy too, because anybody who's played enough Battlefield has been in the situation where you're in a field and you're running to the next location. You're like, where's the fucking vehicle at? Where's the vehicle? Like, I need to get over there. And you got other people just driving right past you trying to get picked up, and everyone's just going doing their thing. It's nice that you can just call in one. Like, immersion wise, I'm not a big fan of it, but gameplay wise, it makes sense. And when I used it because I needed a vehicle, I'm not complaining. So I don't know how I feel about it fully, but it's an interesting change. Yeah, shooting's good. There's plenty of weapons. Which I'm happy about, because Battlefield since 3 now has had a lot of weapons and a lot of attachments. I'm always really surprised on how much they can pack into those games. In terms of that, in this, there's a section where you kind of see all the guns you can unlock, and it seemed like there's quite a bit. So that was cool to see.
They also have skins and stuff that you can get for your weapons, which is fun.
Yeah. And yeah, shooting the enemies was satisfying. I was enjoying it. The whole time I just wanted a mouse and keyboard, but not because the controls sucked. It actually worked really well.
Yeah,
I was just looking at my shots and I'm like, man, I'd be so much better if I had a fucking mouse.
Yeah.
I overall I enjoyed the game. I am not, because I'm just so in love with Hunt Showdown right now, not clamoring to play right now. But if it does go on sale, I think I am going to pick it up, and I hope you do as well, because it'd be nice to play a shooter with you. And I would definitely be down to play it. I think it has crossplay too.
It does.
So
you have to enable it or disable it before you even start the game. So
yeah, so it'd be cool to get other people to play it too, because I know a couple people who picked it up and nobody was playing at the time. So there's like, oh, I guess I'm playing this on my own now. But yeah, I don't think they've saved Battlefield as a brand with this game, but I do think they tried something that didn't work, and they were able to course correct, and that's good, because this is a small tangent, but we saw what happened with Anthem and EA, and that was fucking crazy, because even though I wasn't super in love with Anthem and its beta, and I didn't pick it up when it came out, there are people who were really into it, but they wanted to make an Anthem 2.0, and EA was like, get rid of it. We don't want to spend money on that. And they just abandoned it really quickly. I'm like, man, you built a whole game with a whole foundation. You could have saved that.
yeah.
And I look at what they've been doing with Battlefield, and Battlefield 5 underperformed, and then they made this to try and appease people, trying to make it feel more like Battlefield 4. And they somehow fucked it up even more with all the changes and stuff. And I was like, is EA going to scrap that shit too? But it seems like, because it's a more established brand, they worked with it, and I think they've brought it back to a place where I think it's playable for a Battlefield fan, and that's important. So yeah, I was glad to see that, because going into it, I didn't know what to think. I was like, is this gonna be underwhelming like when I first played it? Because I'm past the point of being upset about Battlefield not being as good as it used to be. I was just kind of, when I originally played this, kind of surprised on how minimal it felt. I was like, this is bare bones, man. This is like kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, it was. I think it's probably extra bad too, because like they did a really good job advertising this one to make, and it looked like Battlefield again.
Yeah, they were trying to make up for 5 with this, but I think the biggest problems is how unfinished it was, the network problems, and then the operator system was not. I remember playing it early on and going like, if this is the direction Battlefield's going and people like it, that's cool, whatever, they can have it, but I don't like the operators. But then I was looking online and everybody was bitching about the operators. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, everybody's on the same page when it comes to classes.
Yeah, I really hope, should they decide to do another Battlefield, and I'm sure eventually they will, they just kind of shut their mouth and make the game, and then...
They did that with this, though.
Well, except for they released it and it wasn't finished. So
Sure.
to finish my thought, make the damn game and announce it when it's ready. So
No, I agree with that. I was more referring to Battlefield 5. They made a lot of decisions that the Battlefield fans who've been playing for years had criticisms of, and they decided to fire back at their fans and tell them don't play it. That didn't work. And
that worked fine.
Yeah, so with Battlefield 2042, they didn't do that this time.
Yeah.
They just silently worked on the game, and they're like,
I think EA told everyone to shut the fuck up.
probably,
so.
but also one of the lead dudes that oversaw Battlefield 5 left. So,
Bye.
yeah. So anyway, two misses so far, but they're both playable. Battlefield 5 soulless, but it's playable, and this is playable as well. This one actually, has some ideas with the environmental stuff. So anyway, I'm just kind of going off for a while now on this. So it's playable, it's fun. I will buy it on sale, and I enjoyed my time with it, and I could definitely see myself playing it again. So that is probably about as positive as I can go with it, and that's good because I was very okay with never touching this game again. So
True.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
No.
Jump into recommendations. Do you want to go first?
Sure. I mean, I'm sure Battlefield fans already tried it. But if for some reason you didn't because you heard all the same stuff I heard when it launched, I do think the game's in a playable spot now. Maybe revisit it, give it a shot. I'm not going to tell you you're going to love it because I've been so disconnected from the franchise at this point. I don't even know what the community wants for the game anymore. So, but I had fun, if that helps. So I'm not in love with it, but it's fun. Other than that, I think anyone who likes, big team battles, you should give it a shot. If you like a game that you can play co-op with your friends, whether you want to do that competitively or in a no pressure sense, it's a good game for that. Game has lots of unlockables, so if that's your thing too, lots of things to work towards. I would recommend it. Anything else?
I would add on to what you said when you said that people who didn't play it for whatever reason, even if you did play it early on, I would say come back and check it out. On sale if you're not playing it here, but on PlayStation Plus for sure, because they might have changed it back into something you want to play now. Because I'm one of you. I'm the guy who played it early on and was not happy with it at all. So I'm telling you right now that it's not amazing, but it's fun and playable for sure now. So they did rework some stuff, and I think it is worth coming back and checking out, especially if you're somebody who is upset with the operator system. Classes are back, so that's like 50% of my complaint on the game. So yeah, definitely check it out and play it. Other recommendations, you said big team battles. You said co-op. I feel like first-person shooters, online shooters. I would recommend it, and Battlefield fans, I guess. I say that so lightly though, because like there's like great Battlefield games, and this one's like it's okay.
Well, people are still, to my knowledge, playing Battlefield 4 and 1. So
yeah, I jumped back into one of those recently, and there's plenty of people playing it. So that's kind of crazy. Battlefield 1 not so much, but Battlefield 4 still has plenty of people playing it. It's kind of fucking crazy.
The last modern one that didn't have people bitching about it. So
yeah, I just thought about the idea if they want to do operators, they should just bring back Bad Company, make Bad Company 3,
or make game title a Battlefield game.
Sure, or yeah, Battlefield blah blah blah, call it something else, and then it can be like something like that. I don't know. Yeah, just change it into something else that's very clear on like this isn't exactly like the Battlefield you guys expect. It's a side project. Because if you want to do that, it's fine. But yeah, when you're playing Battlefield, there's things you expect. And if it doesn't have that, it's not Battlefield. So it's like, what are you selling me?
True.
So yeah, anyway. Who went with impressions first? You? Okay, so I'm going to give this a very, very, very light, soft, pillowy B+. I liked it. I can't give it an A because it still kind of feels underwhelming. I probably need to play it more maybe, but what they have fixed has made it a playable game, and that's good because what I would have given the original Battlefield 2042 is probably a D-. So to jump from that to a B+, I think is quite the leap. It's a playable and fun game that I would if it's on sale, definitely recommend to my own personal friends to pick up and play with me. So I liked it.
Yeah. I don't think I got B+ in me. I'll give it a B. It was fun. Maybe if I played it more, it could turn to a B+. Maybe turn to a B-. Who knows? Game like this takes a lot of getting to know the inner workings of it, and I just realistically didn't have time to do that this month. So, but I had fun. I am interested in playing it again. I think that's worth something. So B.
Yeah, my light B+. Now I'm thinking about it is like probably because I've been hungry for a Battlefield game for fucking years now, because 5 didn't do it for me. This didn't do it for me when it first came out. But playing it again, I just miss how guns feel in Battlefield. It's very distinct feeling for guns in Battlefield as opposed to any other shooter I've played, where they feel big and beefy, and like the way the rounds travel. There's like just a different feel to combat in Battlefield that I was really kind of digging, and probably would have been even better on a mouse and keyboard for me.
Yeah, one thing I particularly enjoy about the style is like you can look over here and there's a battle happening over there. You can look over there and there's a battle happening over there, and they're all happening all around you, and it has nothing to do with what you're doing. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Also, the environmental stuff is a gimmick. I really believe it's like pretty gimmicky, but I also think it's kind of a fun thing, like the tornado and stuff. Even though I remember when the game first came out, anytime the tornado showed up, everyone, you would just see out in the distance, everyone's just running at it. There's always like black dots just running towards it, and then they'll start getting sucked up into it and parachuting around stuff, and it's fucking ridiculous. I did that to kind of relive that memory. When we were playing, the tornado showed up, I started just running at it, and I saw some NPCs they were just like walking by it, and they would just get sucked into it, and they would all of a sudden just be floating in the air. So
yeah, I didn't mess with any of it. I was inside, I think, when that happened, but yeah, because I was holding a point.
Yeah, well, let us know in the comments what you guys think of Battlefield 2042 from both perspectives. Is this your first time playing 2042? Let me know what you thought of it. But also, if you're somebody who possibly played it before, what do you think about what they've done with it? Maybe you've been playing it since it came out, and you prefer what they're doing with it now, or you don't like what they're doing with it now. What are your major complaints still, if there are some issues with the game still, or things you think they've improved upon? And yeah, if you're coming at it from a first time perspective, what do you think of this? Have you played prior Battlefields? How do you think it compares to those? And if there's any features missing from this that you'd like to see, let me know what those are, and maybe just love it. Maybe you think it's the best one ever. Make the case for that as well. And yeah. But that's going to do it for this episode of Plus Club. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on our streams and socials, linked down below. You can check out our Discord, link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us in audio form. We have a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel more than liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing if you're brand new here. And I have a TikTok link down below if you'd like to watch my shorts. I've been Seth. This has been Chevy. Thank you, Chevy, for joining me. Thank you guys for joining us for this. And until the next episode, which will be Game of the Month, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.